Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of the Rush Hour podcast. We have breaking news to get into. The director of the Secret Service has officially just resigned. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle resigns, sources say. Again, she was just absolutely obliterated yesterday by members of both political parties in the Congressional hearing. U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle has tendered her resignation amid scrutiny of security lapses related to the recent assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. The move comes as lawmakers and an internal government watchdog move forward with investigations into the agency's handling of Trump's protection and how a gunman came close to killing the 2024 Republican presidential candidate at a rally in Pennsylvania this month. There have been bipartisan calls in Congress for her resignation and a push by Republican lawmakers to impeach her. Lawmakers were particularly incensed after her appearance for public testimony in front of the House Oversight Committee Monday, where she was unwilling to answer many of the committee's questions. During her House Oversight appearance, Cheatle acknowledged that there was significant and colossal problems with the security at the rally, but still rebuffed demands for her resignation. "I think I'm the best person to lead the Secret Service at the time," she said. And again, that's just not true. Whether it was her fault or not, maybe she was on a family vacation when this all happened, none of that even matters. If you're the boss when something colossal like this happens, you usually take the fall. Here's a couple of clips I'm going to share of two different Instagram accounts. We have one called Real News No BS and the other called the Tennessee Holler. Real News No BS is a little bit right-leaning and the Tennessee Holler is for sure left-leaning. So I'm going to share both camera angles of how folks have sort of cross-examined this case, the first being AOC.
On our mission assurance internal investigation, we are targeting to have that completed within 60 days.
So the idea that a report will be finalized in 60 days, let alone prior to any actionable decisions that would be made, is simply not acceptable.
Now we have comments saying, ran to the comment section to make sure I wasn't completely nuts with potentially agreeing with AOC. Could it be that the thing that unites the country right now is the firing of the Secret Service director? Look, she'll be fine. She'll get a job somewhere. I don't know much about her, but it is interesting that in lockstep, congressional leaders have come together to say, no, this is not right.
We had multiple counter sniper teams available.
Yeah, on the premises, but is only one took one shot? Is that correct, or only one?
Correct.
Okay. How many spent shell casings were found on the roof?
Again, I would have to defer you to the FBI's criminal investigation.
Okay. Word is that the car was rigged with explosives.
Again, sir, I'd have to defer you to the FBI's investigation.
Okay. You're not curious about? You don't communicate with them? No. Okay. CNN reported that the Secret Service did not sweep the building the shooter was used to shoot President Trump and other attendees. Is that true or false?
So we are conducting a mission insurance investigation and will depend on the information that we obtain from our investigation.
On one level, I kind of feel bad for Director Cheatle in the sense that she doesn't want to answer questions that she's not doesn't have the authority to answer. If the FBI is taking over parts of the investigation, she defers to them. It would really be nice if they could have like the head of all of the different FBI, Secret Service, Homeland Security, get all in one place and just answer these dang questions. But again, government runs slowly, and AOC speaks for all of us when it says we don't want to wait 60 days to find out what the heck went down here.
Let's start with the building that the shooter used to shoot President Trump from. At any point Saturday, did the Secret Service have an agent on top of that roof?
Sir, I'm sure as you can imagine that we are just 9 days out from this incident, and there's still an ongoing investigation.
And so again, I'm assuming, and I don't know, I don't know if Secret Service wears body cams, but in the world of 2024, there is just no way that they're not going to have all of this evidence on one timeline. My guess is this: there's a giant timeline, digitally speaking, that goes from several hours before the shooting to several hours after, and they can lay on that timeline probably hundreds of different video angles of what went down. They could reconstruct this in ways that you would have never had in the past to know who was where at what time and how this all went down. Now, my general belief still is mass incompetence led to this, not being all on the same sort of walkie-talkie line. I don't think it's a master plan where they would just I don't know if master plans hire a 20-year-old with a bad shot to see their job out. I think there would have been a million other ways they could have done this. It seems as if the shooter probably was as surprised as everyone else that he was able to get on the roof and get into such a devastatingly opportunistic position for this to occur. So we have two clips to play here from the Tennessee Holler.
Does the ubiquity of guns make your job easier or more difficult today?
Democrat, Virginia.
I understand the Second Amendment rights of individuals.
I didn't ask that question. I'm not questioning the Second Amendment. I'm asking a simple analysis, Director Cheatle. And I can tell you, you're not making my job easier in terms of assessing your qualification for continuing on as director.
Wow.
Please answer the question.
Now, we had, what was her name? Jennifer Mace yesterday. Do I have her name right? Who called the security service director full of you-know-what and swore at her and this and that. I think this is far more effective to have a stern talking to where you say, look, I'm trying to question whether or not I have faith in you leading the Secret Service, and by not answering these questions, you're not helping me. I think that's a very fair tone for him to use.
Head of the Secret Service. You're speaking on behalf of 8,000 members who put their lives on the line. We just had a failure by your own admission. Do guns make your job easier or harder?
I think the job of the Secret Service is difficult on every day, and we need to make sure that we are mitigating all threats, whether that be
That
weapons,
isn't my question.
personnel.
That is not my question.
Now, I think it's obvious that the sort of gun culture makes it harder for the Secret Service, especially if you're in a state where people are very comfortable carrying their guns. That's not to say you shouldn't have the Second Amendment. I think, but I understand that Kimberly Cheatle might not want to play into what might be a political trap about, the statement of gun culture.
And now I think you're evading the answer, which is not a hard one.
It's not about the Second Amendment. If there are over 400 million guns on the streets, if all of those guns were machine guns, would that make your job harder to protect people?
Again, I think weapons that are out there.
If all of
make our
those
job-
guns were rocket-propelled grenades, would that make your job harder?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Perfect.
All right. Hey, we got somewhere. And they get cheers from the audience, just trying to joke. So if everyone had a butter knife, would the world be safer than if everyone had a rocket-propelled grenade? Yes. But can you stop a butter knife with another butter knife? I don't know. I'm not trying to make a political point here, but obviously, regardless of your views on the Second Amendment, obviously the gun culture we have can lead to whether it be a premeditated attack or violence that happens in the street due to emotions and whatever. So whether it's premeditated or gang, it doesn't matter. It's like just we gotta at least start from the place of reality.
This is not a trick question. Thank you. Okay. I won't ask the other 15 things I was going to do. I was going to do drone strikes, but it's okay. So that's all we were asking. It creates a challenging environment. It has nothing to do with the Second Amendment or people's rights. But it does make your job harder. So credit to Representative Connolly for asking that question.
All right, so where do they go from here? There was one more clip I wanted to share with you. And again, this is where it starts, this DEI idea I roll my eyes at, this idea that she only got the job because they were trying to promote a woman and not a man. Let's just hear them. My state of Tennessee, Rep. Tim Burchett, Republican Tennessee 2nd District. Let's hear him ask the question.
Ms. Cheatle, you said that the buck stops with me, and I agree. I don't think you should resign. I think you should have been fired. Ma'am, you are a DEI horror story.
Whoa.
Director Cheatle, was the incident on July 13th due to DEI, or rather systemic failures in communication and potentially safety protocols?
The incident on the 13th has nothing to do with DEI. The incident on the 13th has to do with a failure or a gap either in planning or communication.
Now, if there were evidence that she got the job over someone else who was more qualified, I mean, I'm not educated enough for that, but what wild accusations to make. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's based on the idea that recruiting and supporting workers of various backgrounds is integral to a company's success and encompasses policies and initiatives designed to help all employees feel welcomed and equipped to perform their jobs at a high level. We don't have information, as far as I know, that her being the lead here has to do with her gender or any other reasons she would have been hired for inclusive purposes. But it's pretty wild to say. Someone said, I'm not a person of the left who throws around the racist term loosely. I think it's overused at times. But this new DEI stuff is racism pure and simple. They're literally arguing that hiring more women and people of color is a bad thing. When confronted, they'll argue, no, we just need unqualified women and people of color. But who determines that? Are Republicans the only people capable of hiring women and people of color who are qualified? When Democrats do it, it's DEI. Come on. Yeah, Megyn Kelly actually just did that. And really disgraceful what Megyn Kelly did, saying that Kamala is a DEI hire. With regards to, I mean, I don't know her resume as she rose the ranks in the legal world or anything like that, but it's just like, you know, and if I don't, it's not infighting, but I don't expect women to all want to be lockstep and supporting of each other, but it is interesting the shots that are being fired across political lines. That's a DEI hire. I mean, it's messy. And it takes away the merits of what we're talking about. If you just want to say it's a DEI horror story, then you're not even going deeper into what actually happened, which is more important. Either way, it's breaking news. It just happened. Director Cheatle has stepped down. If I were friends with her, I'd say, you know what? Go on a long vacation, Kimberly. Get out of the country. Just go retire for a little bit. Let this blow over. Obviously, it's a tragic moment in our country's history. First assassination attempt I can remember, a credible one or one that actually led to the firing of a bullet. It's just wild stuff indeed. I'll continue to cover this if you are new here and enjoy my, I hope, fair coverage on the Rush Hour podcast. I do that twice a day, in the morning and every afternoon, about 25 minutes for your Rush Hour ride, anywhere you listen to podcasts. So you can just search my name, Dave Neal, or the Rush Hour podcast with Dave Neal. We'll see you then. Bye, everyone.